Hi, good morning. It's Saturday, October 22nd. We have three big things happening. Well, actually, four big things happening in the next week or two. We have eclipses. We have Saturn stationing direct today. We have Mars turning retrograde on October 30th, and the solar eclipse October 25th. But the thing I want to talk about is the conjunction of Venus and the Sun that's happening today. This is a very, very important conjunction. In and of itself, conjunctions of Venus and the Sun happen often, twice a year. Because of Venus's retrograde motion, which happens every 19 months, she will conjunct the Sun twice every year, or every 19 months, so to speak. Her superior conjunction, which we're having tomorrow, happens when Venus is moving direct. And she's moving direct right now, traveling very closely with the Sun. And they're catching up to each other. She's catching up with the Sun today, very, very close. And then every day for the next couple of weeks, she will start to gain speed and move ahead of the Sun. And in the night sky, you will start to see in early December, Venus, the evening star, being formed, because that's what happens on the superior conjunction. She's being turned into the evening star. So when the Sun sets, she will be rising in the evening sky and setting after the Sun. And she's a thing of beauty. In the ancient times, this was a very beautiful sight to see Venus becoming the evening star. And it's said when she becomes the evening star on her superior conjunction, she's more loving, more pleasure-seeking, more feminine in nature, or yin if you prefer that word. She's and in those ancient times, the land was wet and fertile, and Venus bestowed a lot of those pleasure-seeking and indulgent qualities that she loves. When Venus is goes retrograde, she's backing up and she's going to meet the Sun, kind of like colliding with the Sun as she moves backwards. And on that conjunction, which is the inferior conjunction that it's called, she hits the Sun and she's moving pretty quickly and she backs away from the Sun very fast. So then she starts to rise in the morning sky very quickly, and Venus is rising, becomes the morning star, and she's said to be more warrior-like and more aggressive and more assertive in her Pallas Athena dignity, so to speak. And that when she becomes the morning star, it happens much quicker than when she becomes the evening star. Now, so as I said, this happens frequently. The thing that doesn't happen frequently is there's a pattern that Venus and this Sun form called the Venus star point, Venus pentagram. Venus is meeting in about 5 different signs in the zodiac. The conjunctions of the Venus star sign, the conjunctions of Venus and the Sun happen in 5 signs, and they alternate one for the other. And when they alternate, they go back and forth, and they make this star pentagram. You could look this up online. There are people that will explain it clearer with diagrams. So every 8 years, this conjunction happens in the same sign, and there are 5 different arms and 5 different legs. And so every 8 years, it happens in one of these different arms. And the arm that's changing right now is the one that's been in Scorpio for over 100 years, starting in 1925. This one leg of the Venus star pentagram has been in Scorpio for almost 100 years, and this motion of Venus always moves retrograde, like the lunar nose. So about in 1925, this one leg of the 5-star Venus pentagram entered 29 Scorpio, and now today, this leg is moving into 29 Libra, and it's going to start a new 100-year cycle. So that for the next 100 years, every 8 years, when these conjunctions happen, they will be happening in Libra now instead of Scorpio. So this is a major, major transit of great importance, signifying the end of one era and the beginning of a new era. And for those of you who have planets around 0 degrees of Scorpio or 29 degrees Libra, it will be felt most acutely and most powerfully. But also on the world stage, we're going to see a lot of major symbolism that is denoting eras ending and new eras beginning. And so watch the news media, watch the events. You can see there's going to be a lot of events around women in particular, I would say. So we've had major deaths of two figures in particular I'm thinking of in the last 2 months that have been leaders in their field, that have been women of stature, women of dignity. Queen Elizabeth II died, and Angela Lansbury. Both of these women were immensely powerful, wielded great power in their careers, in their chosen professions. Well, Elizabeth was born into it, but Angela Lansbury gained power through hard work and effort. And they were both born in 1925, when this first Venus star point happened. And it's interesting that they died right around the time as this new star point is being formed and ushering in a new age. And how interesting that they were both very Venusian women. Elizabeth was a Taurus, and Miss Lansbury was a Libra, both Venus-ruled signs. In the media, you're going to see things very juicy about more Libra types Venusian interests. The media will be more, we're going to see news about how we treat others in society. Libra is the sign of the other, the wife, the partner, who forms an equal balance with whatever we're doing. This sign wants to fight for equality in partnership and equal representation in society. So we're seeing major issues regarding women's rights resurfacing right now. There's been the overturning of Roe versus Wade this past year. There will be increased awareness of how we give equal voice to those with less representation in society. Looking for equality in the LGBTQI community, transgender rights, Black Lives Matter movement, whoever the other is represented in society. There's big discussions of the balance of power of the Supreme Court, and that's going to continue to take center stage, another Libra issue. The riots and the protests in Iran over the killing of Mahsa Amini by police for not wearing her hijab properly. Again, the rights and equality of the other, women. The war in the Ukraine is very symbolic of honoring the rights of other peoples and nations and being treated fairly by our open enemies. Libra is the sign of open enemies. So these are very intense times. I just heard on the news yesterday that Liz Truss resigned after only 6 weeks. Very interesting that these are happening now. Again, I said if you have planets at 0 Scorpio, 29 Libra, you're going to feel these shifts and endings much more acutely. But these are major tectonic shifts in our society and in your life as well. The Venus star point ingressing into Libra is the birth of a new era of all Libran things: love, peace, fairness, harmony, balance, and equality, as well as beauty. If you are old enough to remember the Saturn-Pluto conjunction between 27 and 28 degrees Libra in late 82, 83, this Venus star point is going to trigger that point. So it may bookend something in your life from that time period. I'll give you a very good example. I have a 28 degree, almost 29 degree Libra rising, Libra ascendant. And in that time period, 1982, 83, I met the first love of my life. I got into my first relationship with this man I loved dearly. We were together for 8 years. Taught me everything I knew in terms of love at the time, and it's kind of set the template for me in terms of the relating principle. The relationship didn't last, and many years have gone by. We haven't even been in touch. I just found out a few weeks ago that he died suddenly, unexpectedly. I hadn't been in touch with him. That was the relationship that was instrumental in my formative years, birthed in 1982 and 83. And as this Venus star point is happening at 29 Libra on my ascendant, I hear about the death of this very, very important man and very important relationship in my life. So that's one way I can demonstrate to you how this works in action. So if you are old enough and you have planets around 29 Libra or 29 of the cardinal signs, that would be Libra, Cancer, Aries, and Capricorn, or around 0 or 1 degrees of the fixed, that would be Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius. This will hit you in juicier ways. If you want more information on this Venus star point, I suggest you read an incredible book by Ariel Gutman called Venus Star Rising. I have it right here. Great book. She kind of coined the phrase Venus star point, and she's done a lot of research on this very, very important transit, and I have learned a lot from reading this book and her lectures and her insights. So this is a very something that if you're interested in, you should do some research applied to your chart. Look at the house that the Venus star point is occurring in, because it's going to be a brand new house for the next 100 years. New sign of Libra. It's a very, very big deal. So, don't forget, Saturn is also moving direct today. That means things like signing contracts are going to be able to take place. The structures in your life can start to move forward a little bit. Saturn going direct is a good thing. Although it colors the next few days with a slowness and a lethargy and a sense of seriousness of purpose, and it might be a little harder to get things done, but Saturn will be moving forward, and it cares about your productivity in the material world, your career, how you're building things, how you're structuring things, how you're accomplishing things, what's your achievement, and you can move forward after the many months of the retrograde we've had. And again, we have the eclipses coming up in the Mars retrograde, so it's a very juicy time. But I just want to leave you on the point of the Venus star point. Again, remember when Venus and the Sun are cazimi. Any planet that's cazimi the Sun, meaning conjuncted, the Sun is the giver of life. But too much Sun can kill things and burn things up. So Venus is coming into the Sun and she burns up. It said all the things, the old stuff of Venetian habit patterns of pleasure, love, relationships, indulgence, money, whatever Venus represents to you, burns up in order to be rebirthed on the cazimi. She's in the heart of the Sun when she cazimi. So when you're in the heart of the Sun, it burns off the old and rebirths the new. So you want to start to rebirth new patterns in how you love, how you relate. The reason we're having so much conflict in the world is because there has to be a new way to relate. And this is happening in our personal lives too. Burn off the old, give birth to the new, look for new ways to love, new ways to seek pleasure. The Sun gives new life and new meaning to Venus here. So, and Venus is a very pleasure-seeking, earthbound type of planet. So enjoy this weekend, and I will touch base with you soon. Bye.